What up, though? How y'all living? Let me get comfortable. Let me fix my shirt. Let me fix my everything. People be like, why is the steering wheel on the opposite side of the car? Are you driving on the opposite side of the car? No, it's just the way that my phone is. It kind of like it's making it backwards, if you understand. Yo, my eyebrows look like funny today. Yo, my eyebrows funny sometimes. Like if you notice, like sometimes I'll have my eyebrows on fleek and the other times I won't. Like I'm letting my eyebrows grow back so they're like thick and bushy. I have like Drake eyebrows right now. Almost have a unibrow. I'm like Bert from Bert and Ernie. Isn't it Bert that has like the one eyebrow? My eyebrows are confusing, okay? One minute they're like amazing, and then the next minute I'm like questioning my own psychological process. Like, why did I draw my eyebrows on that way? So anyway, this morning I decided to drive out to Fry's and go buy some electronics, buy a new microphone for my laptop, not my laptop, but my camcorder. Because I want to do live streams in my house and I don't want the echo there. When I used to do live streams in my house, the way that my house was built when I lived in Atlanta, the house was so big that when I was walking around the house, you could hear like this echo. So I want to make sure I don't have that this time. So I've been looking for a wireless mic. So I was just in Fry's for about an hour. It opened up at 9 o'clock. So I made sure I got here on time. And I've been walking around Fry's looking for a wireless microphone, one that actually fits my camcorder, number one. And number two, one that I could actually use to do live streams that I can attach to my phone. So I was looking for a microphone that I could attach to my phone if I'm doing like Instagram live or something like that, and also one that I could attach to my camcorder. But the problem with my camcorder is it has an HDMI output, and a lot of the microphones at Fry's or at Best Buy or any electronics store, their output is usually different. It's like the output on the end of your headphones. You know the headphones that you stick into your phone? It's like a stick with three little lines on it. That's usually the ending to the most of the microphones that I just saw that were wireless or that I could put on my shirt inside of Fry's. And my camcorder actually has the ending of how a charger will look. You know how the end of a charger is like square? That's what I have on my camcorder. So I'm trying to struggle with trying to gather a microphone that's small that I can put somewhere that attaches to my camcorder, and it seems to not be anyone where and why can't I get this out right now? There seems to be not one created basically for my camcorder. So I might just have to buy a new camcorder. Right now, I'm live streaming on my phone. Usually when I do like my edited videos, I'm using my camcorder. And so, I just need something that's going to be compatible with both. That's not going to cost me a ridiculous amounts of money. And I definitely don't want like this huge, large ass microphone that I'm carrying around, like I'm on stage or something, or like I'm doing a podcast. You know how you see people doing a podcast, they have this big microphone that's like got this arm on it. I don't need all of that. I'm moving around too much, so I need a microphone that could actually fit onto my body. You know what I mean? Even if it's a wireless mic. So I just have been unable to find one. So when I leave Fry's, I'm probably gonna end up going to Best Buy. And so anyway, I wanted to talk about fathers and even mothers and how they make daughters wife material. Okay, and to me, I used to want to be the one who wanted to be married. I used to want to be married so bad. It was one of my priorities. It was like I got to get my education, I got to get my bread, I got to have some kids, and I got to be married. Those were the four things that I always wanted with my life. It was important. I had to get it done. I had to get it done, and I was so pressed. You know how when you got a goal, you become the person that chases that goal down. Oh, that's me. I'm like, once I have in my mind that there's something that I want to do in my life, I focus on that until I get it done. And so with marriage, it was like I kept trying. If I got in a relationship and it didn't work out, I wouldn't sit there and be butthurt over it. I would just get over it and move on to the next person and work on it that way. And if that didn't work out, I'll move on to the next person. And that's how I was, because I was determined to find the right situation for me and myself. And so after a while, like I just started to be like, you know what, maybe me wanting to be married, maybe just being married is not something that's in the cards for me, because after you've been through a couple of relationships and you starting to see that every time you get in a relationship you're either being lied to or cheated on, you start to try to factor in, is it you that's the problem? Is it that you're making men feel like it's okay to lie to you? Or are you feeling like, or are you doing something that's making men want to cheat on you? And so after a while I started realizing that when I would go to my married girlfriends and I would ask them questions, because most of my girlfriends are married. I don't have a lot of single friends. You know, I've never had a lot of single female friends. Most of my female friends, even in high school, most of the female friends I had in high school are all married. So I'm the one just sitting here not married. My little sister just broke up with someone, so she just became single. And my other sister, she's married and she's been married for a couple of years now, and she's pregnant right now and has two other kids. So most of the women in my life have been married um, or divorced. Like my aunts and uncles, I have 9 aunts and uncles, and all of them are married with the exception of my mother and one of my aunts, and another one is divorced. So most of my aunts have been divorced, and so when I decided that I wanted to be married, right, I said I was going to get married one time, and I wasn't going to get a divorce, and divorce was not going to be something that I was going to even consider. If I get married, I'm getting married one time, and that's it, and I'm going to die with my husband right there with me. And that's the kind of mindset I've always had inside of any type of relationship I've gotten in. And so 10 years ago, when I decided to stop looking for marriage and stop doing relationships because I felt like it wasn't in the cards for me, my relationship with my father was something that I factored in too. I was like, is it that my father didn't teach me certain things that would help me be the kind of wife a man wants? But then with time, a level of maturity and understanding came where it was like, okay, men choose who they want to marry, all right? And each man has a different set of standards in regards to what type of wife that they choose. And a lot of men will try to make it seem like women who are promiscuous or women who are hoes or women who are ugly or women who can't cook or women who can't clean or women who are bad mothers or X, Y, and Z will never be married to. No one will ever consider marrying them. But from what I've been seeing a whole bunch of bad mothers have husbands. I've been seeing a whole bunch of hoes, even porn stars, have husbands. I've been seeing a whole bunch of ugly women walk out around with these fine ass husbands. So it's not like this cookie cut recipe to get a woman to be wife material enough in the eyes of a man who isn't looking for her to be his wife. Like men don't have these requirements and standards, and sometimes people will say, hey, you have these standards and requirements, and that's the reason why you've been single. If you get out of your own way, you'll actually find someone who is perfectly matches you. Like for example, there used to be this movie, well, the movie still exists, but there was this movie called Something New, and it has Sanaa Lathan in it. And it kind of reminds me of the movie she's in right now on Netflix called Napoli Ever After, to where she let go of a preconceived notion or a false premise in regards to marriage and stuff like that in order for her to be able to fall in love. But in the movie Something New, she was a black woman who wore weaves and stuff like that, and she was never the type of person to basically consider dating a man who was black. I mean, who was white. She was never the type of woman to consider dating outside of her race. And then she got hooked up by one of her clients because she did landscaping for a living. And so she got introduced to one of her client's friends, and he happened to have been white, and he came to help. No, she wasn't a landscaper. She was an attorney. What am I talking about? No, she was like an accountant, not an attorney. She was an accountant. What am I talking about? Anyway, she was an accountant. And um one of her friends, I guess that she was working with, that she was an accountant for, decided to introduce her to a landscaper because she wanted the rest of her backyard to be fixed because her backyard looked like crap. So she needed someone to come in and fix her backyard, and he happened to be a white guy. And she ends up falling in love with this white guy. That's what basically Something New was about. And all of the standards that she had before she dated the white guy, she was saying he had to be educated, he had to have nice teeth, he had to have a specific religion, he had to have a specific finances, he had to look one way, act one way, talk one way, XYZ way. And so she ended up having this conversation with her friends one Valentine's Day, and they told her to let her guard down and let down her standards and just open up to see who she could fit with. She ended up fitting with this white guy. They started dating, and then she got married. I have not seen Napoli Ever After yet. I have not seen that, but Napoli Ever After is, kind of almost like the same concept to where a woman has to let go of something in order to get something. And Sanaa Lathan is this woman who ends up cutting off all of her hair on some Tamar Braxton type of thing, and ends up falling in love with like this African guy, So that's what Napoli Ever After is about, and that's actually supposedly what's happening to Tamar Braxton. I don't know. So anyway, even with men, when they have these requirements and these standards in regards to what they believe a wife should be, 9 times out of 10, people end up falling in love with the last person they think they will fall in love with. It's very rare that people fall in love with this preconceived notion or this false premise in their mind of who a person is. You know what I mean? I mean, what a perfect wife or what a perfect husband would be. Now, here's one thing that I have noticed in regards to marriage, in regards to fathers and mothers. Usually, people who grew up in a household to where they've seen marriage, they usually end up being married. You know what I mean? Because they've seen it. They've seen it. Usually, people who have toxic relationships or dysfunctional situations usually grow up and they become that. Usually that's what happens. But you have people who are exceptions to that rule. You have a lot of people who are exceptions to that rule. Because you can look at LeBron James as an example. And the only reason why I'm giving LeBron James as an example is simply because everybody knows who LeBron James is. So I can only give you an example, that I can't give you an example of a homegirl I got because you don't know her. So we're just going to talk about somebody that you know. And that's another reason why I always give celebrities, use a celebrity as an example because that's people or I give an example in regards to a movie because sometimes people that say, well, why are you giving an example of a movie or a TV show? It's because that's the only analogy I know you can relate to. If I tell you a real personal story that's happening in my life between me and another person, yeah, you'll look at it and you might possibly understand. But if I give you an analogy you can relate to or reference to, you'll be able to understand. So with LeBron James, we're just using him as a reference. Okay, so LeBron James grew up in a single parent home. Usually people try to say single mothers raise X, Y, and Z sons to be X, Y, and Z way. They have excessive amounts of baby mamas. They're dope dealers. They're gay, whatever. Right. So here's LeBron James. He actually is married. He's been married to the same woman he was married to when he left high school. He's a very successful man. He has businesses. He just started a new school. So just because he was raised by a single mother doesn't mean he didn't understand the concept of marriage. Someone showed him the example, whether his mother could or not, or his mother probably ended up getting married to someone else and showed him that way. You never know. But LeBron James figured it out. And there's other black men out there that figured it out too. And black women. It's black women who've been raised by just their mother. They're not just doing this pattern of single motherhood. They're actually seeing their mothers be single and then turn around and get married. My mother was not raised in a single parent home. Okay, my mother was raised with both of her parents. Now, here's the thing about that. My mother's mother has been married 3 times. So my mother always got to see marriage. She always got to see the buildup of marriage, and she got to see divorce as well. She got to see separations and everything. So my mother is kind of, I think my mother is not, she doesn't really care in regards to relationships. You know what I mean? Like, my mother doesn't care whether she's married or single or whatever. She doesn't care. No, my mother just wants to chill. My mother wants to have a good time. My mother loves kids, and that's it. Like, my mother, that's it. My mother just is a very nice, very kind person. And to her, her soul is, as long as I'm at peace, I don't care what's going on. I don't have to be married to be at peace. So that's how my mother is. And for me, it would mess up my spirit when I was younger because, I really, really wanted to be married really bad. And so my dad, my biological father, right? I came to this man when I was like 27. I tell people, I've said this story on my YouTube channel before. I found my father when I was like 27. He was around when I was younger and then he left. And then I found him again when he was 27. When I was 27. And I asked him about relationships. I asked him, coming from a male's perspective, what type of woman could I be in order to get a decent husband or to keep a decent man? And I used to ask my aunts and uncles this information all of the time because I knew I really sincerely wanted to be married. I knew I wanted to be a wife and a mother. And my daughter's father is actually the man who introduced me to the concept, because before that I didn't care. I just was like, well, as long as I'm a mom, I don't really have to have a husband. And so anyway, when I met my daughter's father and I saw how his family structure was, in regards to marriage, everybody is married inside of my daughter's father's family. Like, and so I was kind of shocked that he didn't marry me, but he hasn't married at all. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he wants to get married at all. So he has like a little bit of fear in regards to marriage. And so that's his own personal thing, but he's always grown up and seen marriage. So anyway, um, with my father, right, I came to him and I said, Daddy, what would I have to do to be a good woman or classified as wife material to a man? What would make a man just want to stay with me? And my father said, if you want to keep a man, you got to be a hoe. I was like, excuse me. He was like, yeah, you got to know what you want. You got to be open sexually. In order for you to get a man to stay with you, you got to be open sexually. He said this to me at 27. And I was looking at him like, you want me to do what? Like, And I don't know. That wasn't even the first person who contributed to my unhealthy relationship with sex. Um, good thing about here's the thing about my unhealthy relationship with sex. Okay, I don't like it as much as people would think. I like intimacy. I like to be held and kissed and stuff like that. But the actual act of sex, yeah, I didn't really like it seems, I don't know. I don't want to get too graphic, but I think a lot of people believe that I have a level of promiscuity, and I talk about this on my channel a lot, to where people think this. Men have spreaded this false premise, this false lie about me as well, just because they either couldn't fuck me, or we were dating at some time and I actually rejected them, and the relationship ended up being over. And usually men do that. That's something men do. Men like to, immature men, when they break up with a woman, they want to classify her as a hoe and say all of these hurtful things in order to hurt her feelings. And so, uh, a man or two has said that about me, in my past, publicly, or guys who've never hit. I noticed that most of the men who classify me as like this hoe, they talk about me being a hoe, they never had sex with me. Like, that's weird to me. It's like, why are you calling me that and you never hit? You've never hit. And you listening to somebody else tell you, one guy tell you something about me, one, I can see if you had like 70 men, that can provide with you with some type of proof that I've had sex with them, but you're going off as, I don't know, it's just weird. And so I'm very indifferent in regards to sex. And my father contributed to that, and my stepfather contributed to that, because he was molesting me. And I've actually, as I've gotten older, I've been able to deal with the fact that my stepfather molested me a lot better than I could before. You know what I mean? Like before, I don't think I was registering or processing it. So anyway, there is no, to me, this is just my thoughts. No man or woman can teach their son or daughter how to be a good husband or good wife to every single person on the planet, because each person wants a different type of mate. People try to have like these basic standards in regards to what it means to be someone's wife or husband, the basics, okay? And the basics for women are, she has to cook, she has to clean, she has to be a good mother, she has to be, the typical stuff. And like I said a minute ago, it's women out there that don't know how to do none of those, who are still married. And it's women out there who aren't super attractive that are still married. There's someone for everyone. Now, honestly, a lot of the people that I've seen that are married, number one, they're not happy. They're not respecting their marriage. I've noticed that a lot. It's a lot of people that's married, but they aren't necessarily representing the institution of marriage in a healthy way. I'm seeing people cheat. I'm seeing people just misrepresent their marriage altogether. No one wants to deal with the same stuff that you deal with when you're single. You don't want to deal with that stuff when you're married. So as a single person dating or in a relationship with someone, and I could have possibly been lied to or cheated on, if I marry someone, I don't want to experience that as well. And I'm starting to notice that a lot of people are experiencing that as well inside of a marriage. So why is marriage so valuable to so many people? Because to me, I don't see any value in it. And it isn't because someone taught me that there's no value in marriage. It's just I've been around plenty of married people, and I've seen how they represent their marriage. I've seen some couples who have are just love each other to pieces, and 9 times out of 10 they're significantly older. Like they're not like people, new age couples and millennials who are married and generation X or Z or Y, whatever they are, married. Usually they're cheating on each other. And we're not just talking about on TV. I'm talking about in real life. Now one thing that my mother said to me, we're on a trip. I told you guys I was going out of town for the weekend, right? So we're out on a trip, and so my mother was driving yesterday. We were driving to, where were we going? I think we're going to get something to eat or something like that. And my mother said to me that the difference between black people and white people is that when white people are raised, right, they're taught that they got to get their affairs in order. Just how I was saying at the beginning of the live stream, that I knew I wanted to get my money, get my job, get my marriage, and get my kids. My mother said that she thinks that white people make those things their priority first and do fun secondary. Like she said, they want to make sure that they have their money, their kids, their job, and their marriage, and they build all of this stuff together. And that's not how the black community is at all in regards to marriage, or in general. Every black person is for themselves inside of relationships, and she thinks that's the reason why um, marriages and stuff are breaking down inside of the black community. And a lot of people will try to say that it's some type of systematic like racism or something like that, or we're being brainwashed as a people. But you have to understand, with time, we've gotten a lot more freedom. We've made a lot more money. We can make a lot more positive, more proactive choices inside of our community. But it's not a lot of people out there that's participating in that. So we got the opportunity, the space, the opportunity is right there to be in a healthy marriage or to have a good set of finances. I mean, the information is there. You know what I mean? So I just don't understand. I don't understand why people think fathers and mothers, the way that they behave in regards to marriage or whatever, can actually get their children to follow behind. Because usually when you get your kids to try to follow behind some type of legacy, you have to attack their psyche the first 7 years of their life. So if you don't discuss relationships and stuff like that with them the first 7 years of their life, if you don't discuss a derivative of how you're supposed to be a husband or a good man or whatever, a good woman, a responsible young lady or whatever it is, if you don't tackle that stuff the first 7 years of their life, you're going to spend the rest of their life trying to teach them how to do things using repetition. Because the first 7 years of their lives, what you're doing is you're dealing with them on a subconscious level, because basically people between the ages of 0 to 7, they're downloading everything by default because they're coming here to learn everything, to learn how to live, eat, drink, go to the potty, walk, draw, write, talk, read. These are things that they're automatically learning the second they come out of the womb. So the first 7 years of life, everything that they learn is from a subconscious programming. So if you're a good parent, usually 9 times out of 10, your kids are going to grow up to be good parents. If you're good with money and you're showing your kids this the first 7 years of their life, 9 times out of 10, they're going to be good with money. If you show them the first 7 years of their life that marriage is the most important thing when they grow up, 9 times out of 10, they're going to think that marriage is an important thing. But if you wait, like what I noticed with a lot of black families is when children are going through their 0 to 7 phase and they're in their subconscious and they're learning things automatically, black people don't teach them anything. They only teach them certain things when they get a certain age. Like you got to stay out of grown folks' business or grown folks X, Y, and Z when you're between the ages of 0 and like 13. Then when you get 13, your parents start unloading all of this stuff on you that you're supposed to just automatically know how to do. Nah. You teach your kids about relationships and finances and marriage and, the everyday rigmarole stuff in order to survive. You teach them that stuff 0 to 7. If you're in a live chat, please make sure you thumbs up. The live chat is 36 people in here. It's not like there's a lot of people in here. Just make sure you thumbs it up. I don't know why the thumbs up and thumbs down. I think I've shut the thumbs up and thumbs down off again because I had it on for a little while. But make sure you thumbs up the video if you like the video, because I need to see if the content that I'm posting on my channel is something that you love. And so anyway, um, so when like I said before, I think I said this in the live stream before. Well, when I realized that my daughter could understand what I was saying to her, I started talking to her about sex and relationships, because I knew when she grew up, even if she had college education and money, she was going to desire having children. Because most people desire marriage and having children. Society really pushes that on women. So I didn't want her to prioritize that first. I want her to understand that, number one, you need to get your money and your education first, and then you can turn around and be somebody's wife and have children. And I programmed that in her from the time I knew she could understand what I was saying. I didn't want her to think that her top priority should be being a wife and mother, and that's the only value she'll have out of life. I wanted her to understand that she was the creator of her life, and she could manifest whatever it is that she wanted, and she didn't need a man to be there to provide for her if that's not what she wanted. See, a lot of women choose men to provide for them because their family has taught them, well, the only value that you're going to have is if you're somebody's wife. The only time you're going to be well taken care of is if you rely on a man, if you rely on a husband to take care of you. Well, I didn't want to teach my daughter that. I wanted her to go out there and get her own, because in the event that, a woman husband dies, then what is she going to do in her life? So I had to teach her how to be self-sufficient. And so I've been teaching her that from the beginning. And I taught her about sexuality as well, because I wanted her to understand that there was such thing as molestation. There was such thing as rape. There was such thing as promiscuity. There was certain things that she needed to learn at the age to where I could help her understand that because she was a woman, because she was, I'm sorry, not a woman, but because she was female, and because she was a pretty little girl, men would be coming for her in some type of way. And it was going to be some, number one, perverts out there. It was going to be some nasty little boys out there that didn't learn the same thing that she learned in regards to sexuality. And that when she did decide to have sex, what were the consequences and repercussions to having unprotected sex, or participating in teenage pregnancy, or getting an STD or STI. These are things that I was teaching my daughter the second she learned how to talk, and I knew she understood me. And these are all things that I taught her between the years of 0 and 7, because it was like, whatever it is, whoever you end up becoming as an adult, right, has a lot to do with how your character was built in the early stages of life. And a lot of people don't understand that. And the only reason why I understood that is because I took child development courses in high school and in college. So I understand how the brain works in a child. And so when I was raising my daughter, I raised her to feel comfortable in herself. Now, don't get it twisted. Just like every other little kid, these kids have outer influences as well. So the one thing that I think I wish I would have put more emphasis on, honestly, is video games. Because video games kind of warped my daughter's mind a little bit in regards to violence. And that's a whole nother live stream, and I'll probably get into that a whole nother time. But her playing Black Ops and all of these, just all types of video games, that programs the mind as well. She didn't start playing video games and stuff like that, Black Ops and stuff like that, until she was like maybe 12. I want to say 10. So she was like 10, but it still affected her to where she looks at death and violence and stuff in a different way. And so I wish I would have, I'm not saying she's a psycho killer. I ain't a killer, but don't push me. You know what I'm saying? That's my daughter. I ain't a killer, but don't push me. That's how she is. She's like really like strong willed. Like she ain't no punk. Like if somebody was to walk up to her and try to mob her, oh, she'd be done figured out a way to try to dismantle them altogether. So my daughter's good money in that department. But sometimes it's a little scary because you're expecting a girl to not be Tomb Raider ish, Kill Bill ish to it. You basically, she an assassin in this motherfucker. So, which is interesting because then the military matches her, and she's decided to go to the military. So, being a soldier, I think her playing video games has to do with the fact that it created a part of her that wanted to be a soldier. But before that, I had already created a good character. She has a great character. And I think a lot of the time the black community misses out on those first 7 years of life of teaching their children, whether they're male or female, how to have a good character, how to be a good person. And instead of teaching your children how to be a good person, you're teaching them how to be a good wife or be a good husband or be a good athlete or be a good blah, blah, blah. And you're forgetting about other things in life that they need to focus on. I was watching this video last night, and it actually has something to do with what I'm saying. He was talking about the first 7 years of life too. He was talking about how subconsciously we learn in the first 7 years, and the reason why poor people continue to stay poor is because they were programmed to have limited beliefs between the ages of 0 and 7. So that's why rich people are rich, because they were always taught that they had unlimited opportunities and possibilities to become whatever it is that they wanted to be. And that is the determining factor in regards to whether someone ends up being a good person to be with or a bad person to be with. And inside of these marriages, like I said, a lot of people who end up being married, who learned about marriage from their parents. If your parents were married and they've been married for 50 years, or if your parents were married for 10 years and then they got divorced, or if your parents were never married to each other, simply because your parents walk that walk doesn't mean you're going to walk that same walk. But how you carried that marriage, how you carried yourself in that marriage, or not marriage, or whatever you did, how you carried yourself will define whether your children will have a good character or not. And that is what I think a lot of black people are missing. um Teach your children how to be good people regardless. Don't let the outside world be responsible for that. The television, the video games, the other kids that they'll be around, their teachers, whatever. You need to be that person, because you're the first person that they latch on to, mommy and daddy. That you're the first person that they latch on to. And so I don't think that daddies are the reason why little girls become good wives. I think good wives become good wives simply because they were introduced to being a good person from a young age. And they were taught basically social relationship skills. Sociable, like, the sociology, the basic things that we learn, really, really young. You actually teach your children how to be introverted. You teach your children like that. That's why people do play dates and stuff like that. You ever see, like my mother keep trying to encourage me to find another baby just as his age, so he can have better social skills. Because right now he's like 4 months and all he sees is grandma and mommy, and then when we go out, like I take him out all of the time in the stroller. Like we just got a stroller recently, so now I've been strolling him around places. I'm probably gonna take him out today. But if you don't teach your kids that stuff, they're gonna end up being horrible people to interact with. People teach their children how to interact with other people. This is what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to, number one, send me video topic suggestions or any relationship questions that you want me to discuss on my channel. Anything you want me to discuss on my channel, please email me at soncerae@gmail.com. I'm going to share some emails with you guys really, really soon, because I had stopped sharing the emails that people were sending me. And I want you guys to go to yaorva.com. Okay, now though that's my t-shirt line. I started that line for the my soon to had been husband at that time. Like I was planning on marrying Priest, and he needed a business, so I started a business for him, and I've kept the business since. So, it's basically t-shirts that promote positivity. It's for all religions, all races, all colors, any ethnicity or belief or background you have. You should be able to find a shirt up there unless you're Jewish. I haven't done any Jewish anything. I don't think I've done any Muslim anything too, so I'm working on that. But if you have any suggestions for tees, you can email me. But I want you to go into this site and I want you to pick out a shirt. Okay? And if you pick out a shirt and you send me a picture of you wearing the shirt, I'll give you your money back. And the reason why I want the picture, because I just want you in the shirt. I want you to send me a picture of you wearing the shirt. I'm trying to collect pictures of people in the shirts. And so, I just thought that would be a good way in order to get the pictures. You get you a shirt, and they're only like $23. Most of them are like $23, and you get you a shirt, you take a picture in it, and boom, send me the picture. I'll send you your money back. And, your picture is basically the proof that you bought the picture, honestly. So, I mean, you bought the shirt, honestly. So, I want you guys to do that. So, make sure you do that. So I hopefully you guys know that I have been making some major changes on my channel. I've been trying to make it a more positive, more comfortable place for everybody to interact with each other. Um, all of the drama that was on my channel that was being brought by other people, I'm eliminating that altogether. Any type of disrespect or people saying derogatory, ugly things is gone. I know that may be entertainment for a lot of people. I know a lot of people look to that stuff to see people fighting and arguing and stuff like that. I don't want that anymore. I don't want to see that anymore. And I've been saying I don't want to see it for a long time. And so I'm losing viewership, and it's because I'm switching and I'm creating a different audience for my channel, Um, and that's what I'm just gonna focus on, and it takes time to build it. So it's probably gonna take me like another month or two to get back my regular viewership. So don't be surprised if you see like not as many hits on like my live streams and my regular videos, is because I'm attracting a different audience. All of that drama and that negativity and things in regards to race and stuff like that, I want that audience gone altogether, because it brings too much negativity, too many issues. I don't want to have anything to do with it, honestly. I'm not even gonna front. I would hate to see some of y'all go, but not all of y'all part of my tribe anymore. I've grown into another type of person, and I'm full fledged trying to be what I've been talking about I wanted to be for years on my channel. I've been saying for years that I wanted to focus only on positive content, and instead of me just going full force at it before, I decided to still do the drama stuff, still talk about relationships, still, entertain that nonsense. But I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I just don't, because I was scared. I was scared that if I stopped, like, number one, let's give you an example. You know how people always be like, Soncerae, you use cuss words too much? I noticed that when I use profanity in my videos, I get more hits. Yeah, I know it's a long time ago. So when people were like, Soncerae, stop cussing, I'd be like, y'all complaining about cussing, but the only time you fucking watch this video is if I have profanity all up and through it. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm just keep cussing. And then when drama would pop off on YouTube, and I would do like regular videos that don't have nothing to do with the drama, people wasn't watching it. So I had to entertain the drama in order to get the views. And then you see somebody bursting out of nowhere making a video about me, and it'd be like, why are you making this video? And I would turn around and do a response video. Those response videos would get super views on it, and people be like, Soncerae, I'm so sick of seeing the drama. But that's the only thing that you're watching. Like, for example, the metaphysics and spirituality videos, the Buddhism videos, I want to do a lot more of those, right? But when I do those videos, they evergreen videos. Like, some of them don't grow. Some of them do grow to where they're getting thousands of views later with time. But for the most part, they don't grow as fast. Drama usually gets me hits quickly. My other videos about spirituality or whatever else, they take time to grow. A lot of people say, well, you got such and such and such amount of subscribers on your channel, so you should have a certain amount of views. No, there are a lot of channels out there. If you look at their subscriber count, they have not as many hits on their videos. And the reason why their channel is like that is because they have a mixture of what they're doing on their channel. If a person has one topic that they discuss all of the time on their channel and that's it, it's usually easy to say, everyone who subscribes to this channel is using this channel for a specific tool or something that they need. So they know that they can go back to this channel to get that same thing and that's it. But when you're dealing with a person who has a whole bunch of variety on their channel, usually they have sub audiences. So I have a sub audience here, sub audience there, sub audience here. I have more than one audience inside of um my subscriber list and even off. So if I make a video, only a piece of my subscribers are watching it. I will never make a video to where all of my subscribers are all watching it, at least now, because my content was so it has so much variety. I was doing everything across the board to try to find what my niche was. And so now that I know exactly what I want to do, a whole new audience is coming in to replace all of the sub audiences. So now it's just going to be one big audience. But before, it's been like 8 different audiences in one, like these subscribers are all in their little departments, you know what I'm saying? So that's how views can be. Like, you could look at a video on my channel and it's like 6-figure digits, you know what I mean? 6-figure view counts. And then you can look at another video on my channel and it's only like 300 hits. That's why. It's because I have sub audiences. But then you go to somebody else's channel and you see they have all of these subscribers, and then you look at their view count and their view count is ridiculous on every single video. It's because their channel is based on one thing. Go look at it. You'll see what I understand, what I'm saying. Go look at a channel that you're subscribed to, right? And every time they upload a video, their video gets a whole bunch of hits every single time. It's because that person is talking about the same thing over and over and over and over. They might be revamping it a little bit, or using another topic, but technically they're talking about the same thing over and over and over again on every single video. I don't do that. I don't do that. So I'm attacking one group of people in one video and then another group of people in another video. And so that won't be like that anymore. It was like that all of these years, but it won't be like that anymore, because now all I'm going to talk about is relationship and lifestyle stuff, which is still a level of variety there, because I'm talking about money, I'm talking about relationships, and I'm talking about your spirit. All that has to do with your life in general. So I basically have the life channel over here. I have the life channel. I'm going to talk about things that have to do to help you improve your life, period. And there's so many things that I could discuss in regards to that it's still going to be scattered, to some degree. But I doubt if I do any more cooking tutorials. I used to do cooking tutorials. I used to do tech tutorials. I was going to do graphic design tutorials. I'm probably not going to do that. I've done beauty tutorials. I'm not doing that. I don't want to talk about race anymore. And honestly, I think this is where I needed to head anyway. YouTube is different in regards to advertising. Someone said, why am I seeing so many ads in your live streams now? It's because YouTube is advertising the fuck out of me, and that's how I make money. So don't complain about seeing an ad and complain about me asking you for a donation. It's either you're going to pay me, okay, because you enjoy my content, or YouTube is going to pay me. It's either or. I'm not going to sit here and just keep doing this for free. It takes so much energy to have a YouTube channel. It takes so much energy. So if you're not going to donate, because there's people out there that complain about donating, you're not going to donate. Okay, stop bitching about it. But don't start bitching about the advertisements that's on my videos that are actually paying me. You understand? That's all I have to say. So anyway, I appreciate you watching. I see people in chat. My chat is not that full. Someone is saying, so what are you going to do now, content wise? What's the name of the channel? Right? Look at the name of the channel. That's why I changed the name of the channel. The name of the channel is what I'm going to do. So if it doesn't have anything to do with relationships, I'm not going to talk about it. If it doesn't have to do with you improving your relationships, I'm not going to talk about it. If it doesn't have anything to do with you improving your finances, I'm not going to talk about it. If it doesn't have anything to do with motivational speaking and helping you just improve your life, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to do entertainment news how y'all want me to. It's too much of that. Y'all see that on YouTube all the time. Negativity, I'm not doing it. Drama, I'm not doing it. It was making me unhappy. I'm sitting here pleasing all these other people, getting all of these views. Yeah, I'm getting a check from it, but at the same time, it was making me miserable. People was trying to destroy my life, off of some YouTube shit. I'm way too mature. I got too much going for myself. I'm an amazing person, and I wasn't even getting the opportunity to enjoy YouTube how I wanted to, and enjoy what I'm doing how I wanted to, dealing with trolls and negativity and people talking about my race and my sexuality and my kids and stuff like that. Mm-mm. Now, of course, I still talk to you guys about my life. I mean, that's me. I like to vlog. You know what I mean? So if I'm giving you, like in all of my other videos, when I'm giving relationship advice, I kind of, tell you about my story so I can relate, so you guys can relate to me. I'm still going to do that. But I'm definitely not participating in no back and forth, nothing. Race, I'm not doing the men and women against each other thing. I'm not doing that. No. If it's not positive, I don't want to have nothing to do with it. And some people can get bored with that. Some people like drama. Some people need drama in order to be entertained. Of course, I'm still going to be my funny self. I'm probably going to end up being funny over time because the happier I get, the funnier I get. And I'm probably going to, implement my jokes because I don't tell a lot of jokes anymore. Like I joke around, but I don't have like some hardcore jokes like I used to have. I used to joke like crazy, you know what I mean? But I'm a motivational speaker, and that's who I've always wanted to be. I used to be a minister, y'all. And so I'm trying to get back into speaking and doing my conferences and seminars and all types of stuff, man. If it's not about improvement and something powerful in that way, I don't want to have nothing to do with it. Only come here if you want me to help you improve your life. If you don't want that, then you don't belong here. I'm here to help you. And you guys help me. You know what I'm saying? You help me by clicking on my ads. You help me by giving me video topic suggestions. You help me by telling me what problems you do have so I can use your life as an example to teach someone else's. If you email me your life, you email me a question and I address it publicly, you don't realize who else you helping. I don't have to say it's you. It's how many anonymous stories I've spoken about. Just send me your story. You can stay anonymous. You know what I mean? People do it all the time. And so I use your story to help somebody else. All I do is come here to help people. That's it. I'm trying to have a good time. You know what I mean? Saturday morning, breathing in that fresh ass prana, baby. Anyway, I gotta go. I'm gonna go to the grocery store and what else I gotta do? I have a photo shoot tomorrow. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to wear my hair. I don't know how I'm gonna wear my hair. I really don't. I'm confused in that department. I'll figure it out though. Trust me. I'll figure it out. But I appreciate y'all watching, okay? Have vision and stay focused. Namaste.